This is a first presentation of Jewish Sephardic traditions in Morocco. And I'm taking this the opportunity of Mimona. Mimona is the last day of Pesach, of Passover, and many attempts to translate to find the origin of the word Mimona I've made. One of them was attributed to the father of Rambam, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, Mimona. But actually I heard something much more interesting, and it comes from Mi Emuna, from faith. So we're going to compare the symbols, the different symbols of Passover and Mimona, because they are very related. They are comprised in a cycle which starts in Pesach and ends in Mimona. So imagine two tables: the Seder of Pesach, the table of Pesach, Passover, and containing or covered with all the symbols of Passover, which start with Kadosch, of course, but the matzah, the bitter herbs, all these symbols are symbols of bitterness. And the first word of the Haggadah is halachma anya. This is the bread of the poor, of poverty. Whereas on the table of Mimona, you have the main symbol, actually compared to al-ahma anya, to the bread of the poor, is the mofleta. Mofleta is typically Moroccan, Jewish Moroccan, and I've been searching the meaning of it. I've asked around, etc., and I was never satisfied with the meaning offered to me. So one day I was reading the prayer of the Rosh Chodesh, the first of the month, were the blessings, and one of the blessings is lefleta. Fleta means abundance, and all of a sudden it hurt me my head, and I immediately find the meaning of mofleta. Mofleta is a Hebrew word composed of a prefix mo and fleta, meaning abundance. So mofleta means with abundance, and you put them one in front of the other, meaning the lehem, the bread of the poor of Pesach, and the mofleta, which is the symbol of abundance. So I'm also going to describe the celebration in a certain area of Casablanca, because the celebration starts in the street and then in the home. So in the street, first of all, Mimona starts late at night because people have to clean the house and put away the Pesach utensils and silverware and everything that belongs to Pesach, because they're used only in Pesach. We got them in Pesach, and after having cleaned the house and prepared the house for Pesach, and then we put it away before bringing the chametz, meaning the non-Pesachtic things. So the table, to compare the two, so the table of Mimona, in the center of the table there is a big tray containing a mound of white flour, and the mound of white flour is crowned by 7 or 8 pods of fava beans. And also, it's all surrounded with non-kosher plus Pesach cakes and cookies, etc., and fruit and drinks, and also mofleta. So mofleta is a crepe. Is a crepe prepared in the house after Pesach, in the night, at night, by the ladies of the house. So first of all, let's go to the street. So I'm going to describe the celebration of Mimona within an area of Casablanca, which was new buildings for the time, very new buildings with all the modern things of the house, and at the end, at the southern border of the old city. And this area that I'm going to describe is circumscribed within within and without the four streets. The four streets were rue Sarah Bernard, rue Rachel, rue Desjazet, and rue Adrien Le Couvreur. Sarah Bernard, Rachel, and Desjazet were actresses of the 19th century. This name was given by the French because this is a time when French had the mandate on Morocco. So Adrien Le Couvreur was a poet of the Revolution, and he was arrested for his ideas, and he was in the Bastille. He was prisoner in the Bastille. So on one side of those streets there was buildings, and on the other side also building, and they surrounded a block of buildings in the center of that square or quadrilateral circumcision. So in that building was very modern, and within the building there was a precinct of the police. The police they were hardly had any problems, so they were very friendly with everybody, and they were invited in the houses and that area. So in this area, because I had family living in one of the streets, I think it was Sarah Bernard, and so on all the streets you had all the people who came. So one of the very, very important things there is the concept of the Messiah. All the doors were wide open, all the lights were on, and you didn't need to be invited to penetrate, to go inside the home. Even if you didn't know them, you were welcome, and you sat around the table, and you were giving, and you were helped to the goodies around the table. So in the street now you have all these crowds, very happy, shouting the blessings of Mimona, which is Tarhu, may you be winners, and also they were singing also Alala Mimona Ambarkam Sauda, Lady Mimona, you are blessed and prosperous. And from one side to the street they were blessing one the other and laughing and going in houses, coming out, going to other houses. It was very, very merry. So from the houses you also heard some Oriental music, mainly from itinerant musicians. One, for instance, isolated music, would go from house to house to play his oud. The oud is the Moroccan mandolin with a big belly. So here we are now we are inside the house, right? Inside the house, you're welcomed with laughs and with happiness and with tarhu, may you be winners in life, successful. So the master of the house would sit at the end of the table, and in front of him there was a pile of crepes of the mofleta, a pile, and on which he was going to lie down butter and honey, roll it, and give it to each person who comes to him to receive the mofleta and the blessing. And so it was a really ceremony, a real ceremony. So they kept providing the crepe because, of course, people were coming and leaving and other coming and the whole night long. So, so the Master Hawzat was sitting there with the butter. It was a beautiful tradition because sometimes the neighbor, the Muslim neighbor, would bring as a gift to that table the butter and the honey as a gift, and most of the time the people in the house they wear Moroccan traditional clothes like a jalabiya and a kaftan for the ladies. So that's what he's giving now. So he covers the crepe with the mofleta with butter and honey, rolls it, and give it to the next one with the blessing. Tarbah, 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 tarbah. All the night long, they eat and drink and read again. Now, why is it Mimona also Emuna from hope with faith? I mean, because there's another symbol that really symbolizes the faith. In the morning, this is during the war, World War II, and there were hardly any buses or any. So we ought to chart horse-drawn big carts, and not accommodated for passengers, of course. But so we used to sit on the edge of the cart, on the platform, and within the circle or the square, inside the circle or the square, the children would sit protected by the adults. So we go to the sea, to the seashore. Why the seashore? Because the symbol of that procedure was to remind us the crossing of the Red Sea. You had to cross, you had to have faith to jump in the Red Sea, because the Red Sea was not completely retired yet. And you had to be faith because you believed in God, saying that He was going to let you cross the Red Sea safely. So we go to the sea and we dip our feet. And that occurs very in the morning, and everybody was dressed very casually, and on the sand, we're walking on the sand and enjoying that party there again. Some people bring food, some drinks, and this is a tremendous symbol of the faith. With how we in the Sephardic in Morocco get in contact with the Bible, they lived it. They lived the Torah every day. We had names of people that had completely disappeared. The names that disappeared from the communities. Like I remember Mushi. Mushi, we thought that it was an Arabic pronunciation of Moshe. But no, Mushi is a descendant of Levi, of the family of Levi, of Kahat, and his name was Levi and Mushi. So we had names like that. We have other names very related to the Torah, and they found that name in the Torah. So we used to finish the day of Mimona very happy, tired, because we had been awake the whole night long, going from house to house. Again, I would like to come back to the symbol of Mimona, of faith, because we read the Haggadah, the Seder Haggadah, the recitation of the book of Passover. We started it with Halach Ma'anya. This is the bread of the poor. And we started bitter herbs and dipped in salt, and charoset, symbolizing the mortar that the Jews used to use in pharaonic Egypt to build the pyramids and other buildings. And so all those symbols was a painful symbol. And then at the end of the recitation, and we do the dinner, and then the glorification of God, the Hallel, the prayer of the glorification of God, and we fill a fifth cup of wine for the Messiah, for Eliyahu Navi, the announcer of the coming of the Messiah. And now in Mimona, the whole night is of sweets, of happiness. No symbol at all of the suffering in Egypt. We were completely liberated, free, and living in a free world. And may we continue to celebrate Mimona with as much happiness. Amen ve amen.